Welcome to 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce. Glad to have you with us. Wednesday in the NBA. It's the San Antonio Spurs going up against the...
And there's no substitute for the NBA on Wednesday morning here on 2K Sports. So the opening lineup for the Spurs, presented by State Farm. And it's Arthur in at the 3 slot. And for the Lakers. And so here is San Antonio. Shot clock at 5. From deep. Can't get it to go. And it's the Lakers taking it the other way.
Boy, I tell you, the Lakers are always tough on their home court. I mean, visiting teams can get a little starstruck, too. I mean, all kinds of celebrities hanging out in the crowd. Just as many famous people watching as actually playing in the game when you go play the Lakers.
Here's Arthur. Got him with the pump fake, but couldn't finish. Shoots from the high post. San Antonio with the rebound. Going back to that Lakers home record, 30-11. Last season, tied for the 5th best home record in the league. And Steve, you start overlapping, you know, the star watching at the games, good play on the floor. That's quite a scene.
It's a great scene, one of the great venues in the NBA. And the Lakers, they're competitive year in and year out. And they'll continue to be a tough team, whether it's at Staples Center or on the road.
And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
Hey, Kevin, I had a chance to talk with the head coach for the San Antonio Spurs. And he said, honestly, it's hard to separate these teams on paper. We're similar in so many ways that it's difficult to find an area where one side really has an advantage. He said he wouldn't be surprised if this one was decided by just a few points. Perfect for us, guys.
Wonderful stuff, Doris. Thanks. I think we could have a tight one, Clark, on our hands today by the sounds of it.
Kevin, I agree. We should have a tight one. I mean, these are two evenly matched teams.
Well, and a lot of times when you have a matchup like this, guys, it comes down to strategy. So both these coaches and their respective game plans could come into play here today.
Jumps up. He gathers. And it's the Spurs with the ball. To the inside. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Great awareness by fouling on that layup. Make him earn 2 points.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. I mean, send them to the line instead of giving up an easy 2.
So 1 for 2 that time at the stripe. And it's the Lakers ball. From outside the arc. San Antonio with the rebound. And he beat the buzzer, but it's no good. And off we go, a close game. Now starting the second quarter. On defense, San Antonio.
25-16 were the Spurs on the road last season, guys. That tied for the 5th best road record in the league.
And a moment now to reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up for the second quarter of basketball. On the court for San Antonio. And it's Arthur in at the 3. Shoots from the baseline. Jump shot is good. And Clark, I think a lot of that is veteran discipline. You talk about the Spurs and how well they played away from San Antonio.
Yep. Yeah,
Steve, I know you've been through that, played with veteran teams that play well on the road.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kevin. I mean, you got veterans, you execute, you never fear anything, you know you can win. That's a team that just knows what it's doing, and that shows in their road record.
He tries for 3 with the second effort. The shot no good, and the Lakers go with it the other way. It's in. There's 57 seconds left in the second quarter. Goes to the fadeaway and cans it.
Looks to me like they've settled down after a horrific opening quarter.
Lets it go from deep. There's the bucket. Good.
You can't just get a hand up. You've got to anticipate what he's doing before he shoots.
Goes up on the wing, and it falls a bit short.
That's a tough one there because he's wide open. That's a shot he expects to make.
And the Lakers check on 2 more. 15 seconds left in the first half of the game. Craig gets called for the reach. That's foul number 2 for him. And so here is San Antonio. They trail by 1. Trying his luck deep. No good. And we'll get back to the action right after this.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to HP.
And now the start of the second half. Neither side jumping out ahead through the first 2 quarters. And the Lakers have possession. It's a 1-point game. That's the Laker 5. And that one's good.
And, you know, coming off consecutive championships, the Lakers last season actually took a big step forward offensively. They really improved their offensive efficiency.
Moving the ball well. Knocked away.
And nice swipe there. You could see his eyes get wide open when he saw the opportunity to take the ball.
That's good. You're right, Steve. Up to 7th in offensive efficiency in terms of points per possession in the NBA. And Clark, you know, for the Lakers, an established roster, not surprising they'd get better offensively as they continue to develop that chemistry.
Well, familiarity. I mean, as you look at the Lakers, they are a team that has stayed together, and they continue to grow and understanding each other as teammates. You see that also in their turnover numbers last season. I mean, they had the 5th lowest turnovers in the league, and that's about skill and also chemistry. And they've got a pretty good amount of both.
Five to shoot. Backs down. The jumper's good from inside 6 feet. So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
You know, it's interesting with the Spurs, how good they've been. They just don't get a lot of attention. Their games don't always draw in big TV ratings, but year after year, they seem to just fly under the radar.
Both teams will make substitutions. Lakers leading by 3. So, Clark, when you look at the Spurs, why is it, do you think, that they haven't captured the imagination of some fans?
Well, I mean, most casual fans and even some of the more ardent, rabid fans are more intrigued and excited by much more flash. And
I'm talking nationally now, not locally, but nationally.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. So that's what I'm saying, that those folks tend to get hung up and enamored with the highlights and the real high-profile type stars. And quite honestly, it just doesn't sell as much across the country. But for those of us who enjoy basketball, know basketball, appreciate all the work that goes into it, they are a model franchise and one of the outstanding sports franchises in all the sports, in my opinion.
Well said. And as we conclude the third quarter. While we're still getting underway here in the fourth, let's go down to Doris Burke, who has our Sprite Spark of the game report. Doris?
For the Lakers, the Sprite spark has been from the great play of their point man off the bench. This scoreline would look entirely different if it weren't for his efforts off the bench. He's been a big factor for them, and we'll see if he can keep it going down the stretch. Gentlemen?
Great, Doris. Thanks. He has been a true catalyst, Clark, off the bench.
Boy, I tell you what, he gave them something they've been lacking. It basically changed their attitude and their disposition out there. He had that kind of impact.
And that's something you don't always see, guys. A player coming in off the bench and assuming a leadership role, that was impressive.
On the floor for San Antonio. Lifts up. Gets the go-ahead bucket.
Terrible defense for both teams. Just atrocious.
Yeah, it's been awful, Steve. I don't know any other way to say it, and I'm sure both teams will get an earful from their coaches.
Timeout called the Lakers. They're losing by 1. 1:30 left in the fourth quarter. Go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Hey, Kevin, during that last break, I heard the Lakers coach as he addressed his team. He got on his players for their lack of commitment on defense away from the hoop, saying, listen, you've got to close out on their shooters. We can't just let them light us up from three-point territory.
San Antonio leading. Six to shoot. Leans. The rebound by the Lakers. 1:05 left in the fourth quarter. From 20 feet out. The second effort. Yes!
What a clutch shot there.
Really, the definition of clutch.
Beyond the arc, nails the tray.
Both these teams really fighting hard here. This is an impressive matchup.
Yeah, not much separation able to be created either way, and I really marvel at the effort being expended by both of these teams.
They strike right back with a three of their own.
Steve, that's a great way to respond after giving up the long ball.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They're trailing by 1. 36 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. What's your take, guys?
I think it's a no-brainer here. You got to go 2 for 1 to maximize the clock.
I agree. So important, Paul, about clock management. You got a good opportunity here, so they want to take a quality shot and then get another possession.
36 seconds left in the fourth. From downtown, San Antonio again missing. Steve, what a big possession right here.
No doubt, guys. You can feel the tension in this building.
No good off for an iron.
Wow, tough shot.
Very, very difficult. Boy, that was a high degree of difficulty. You probably make 20% of those.
He tried that leaner, and to me, it probably got him off balance a little bit. Probably should have gone straight up. Well, not much of a choice there. They pretty much had to foul.
Yeah, that's the only option they had to try to get the ball back to even this thing up. You got to be sure that you can get it there in time and crisply.
For the win. And so it's the Lakers who come out on top here. Clark, it was anybody's game right to the very end.
Yeah, it was. The coach is happy with the outcome, but maybe not so much with the margin.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan saying so long and thanks for joining us as we leave you with the Jordan Player of the Game.
Welcome to 2K Sports. Glad to have you with us for a little NBA basketball. Wednesday in the end.
And there's no substitute for the NBA on Wednesday morning here on 2K Sports. So the opening lineup for the Heat and for the Lakers.
You know, the Lakers are a really good defensive team, and one key is they don't foul you. They don't send you to the line unnecessarily. Last season, they were lowest in the league in free throw attempts they gave to the opposition.
And so the tip-off, it's Miami. Backs down. 5 on the clock. Number 31 hits the reach-in call. That is his first foul of the game. Going back to the Lakers defensively, part of the reason, Steve, they didn't foul is that their big men could just go straight up and bother a lot of shots inside.
Yeah, and the presence of their bigs inside allowed them to close out aggressively on the perimeter. The Lakers were the third best team in the league in opponent three-point percentage because of their ability to stretch out to the three-point line defensively and funnel everybody towards those bigs.
And the Lakers have possession. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Hey, Kevin, I spoke with the Lakers head coach. He talked about what an even matchup this is and said he expected a very tightly contested game. When two teams are so alike, more often than not, it comes down to the very last moments or even a little bit of luck. We'll see if he's right, guys.
Great job, Doris. Thanks. Guys, what do you think about that report?
Well, on paper, or in theory, it's hard to separate these teams. I mean, so game planning is going to be really important, but also, as always is the case, guys, execution is the differentiator.
Yeah, the coaches for sure have put in a lot of preparation. They've game planned well. And Clark's right. It's about execution. It's about making shots and then being attentive on the defensive end.
Three-pointer. There's the bucket. Good.
And they answer right back with that three.
It's a good old shootout. The fans are enjoying this show.
A three ball. The Lakers with the rebound.
That's a bold move, trying to respond to that three, but he couldn't convert.
Jacks up a three.
Heat ball.
Throws it from deep. Cannot hit. Tie game in Los Angeles. And it's more NBA action. And off we go. A close game now starting the second quarter. And the Lakers have possession.
I think anything less than the title would have to be viewed as a bit of a letdown for the Heat in last year's playoffs. Even when they entered the postseason as the number 2 seed in the East, their eyes were always set on winning it all.
And for Miami, look at who they've got out there. They've got Jackson. And here are the Heat. Number 66 gets called for the reach. That is his first foul of the game. So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles. Clark touching back on the Heat. Looking at the opponents they had to face, no easy matchups for them.
Yeah, Boston, Chicago, then Dallas. They saw a lot of tough matchups in their road to the finals, and it ultimately might have taken its toll on them because Dallas kind of wore them out in that final series.
On defense, the Lakers. Shoots a three. Rebounded by Howard. Here are the Lakers.
Boy, I tell you, the Lakers are always tough on their home court. I mean, visiting teams can get a little starstruck, too. I mean, all kinds of celebrities hanging out in the crowd. Just as many famous people watching as actually playing in the game when you go play the Lakers.
So it's Miami now. For three. The shot no good. And the Lakers go with it the other way. Right, going back to that Lakers home record, 30-11. Last season, tied for the 5th best home record in the league. And Steve, you start overlapping, the star watching at the games, the good play on the floor. That's quite a scene.
It's a great scene. One of the great venues in the NBA. And the Lakers, they're competitive year in and year out. And they'll continue to be a tough team, whether it's at Staples Center or on the road.
So it's Miami now. They haven't allowed any points in the second quarter. Craig is tagged with the reach. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line. He misses the free throw. Both teams will make substitutions. And that one falls, and that puts him up by 1 point. And the Lakers have possession. They trail by 1. Deflects the pass. Clock at 6. Trying his luck deep, and the Lakers with another miss. Good if it goes. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome and thanks for joining me here on the...
So many times I should have taken back this moment.
Welcome back, everybody. The start of the second half getting underway. Both teams battling hard through the first half.
Too much weight, I hold it. Too much pain, and it destroyed me. And then rebuilt me, and now it can heal me. It follows me everywhere I go.
And the Lakers have possession. It's a 1-point game. And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for the second half of basketball. So for the Lakers right now, and he stepped in the line, so they turn it over.
Well, the West has long been considered the stronger of the two conferences in the NBA, but Miami, with its revamped roster, really had no problem beating Western Conference foes last year.
The Heat with the lead. They're working it around. A baseline J connects. The jumper drops. You're right, Steve. Going back to Miami in the West, 20-10 against that Western Conference. So that was kind of a rarity.
Yeah, Kevin, and if you compare their numbers against the West versus the East, the Heat had a much easier time putting up points against the Western Conference opponent.
This one for three. Shot is off.
You know, guys, people talk about jumping ability, but positioning is so important. And you can out-rebound much bigger guys when you get inside position.
The defense backs off a little bit because he does not shoot the ball. Well from the three-point line.
Beyond the arc, gets the bucket. 5 points in the game.
Boy, he made a nice little bounce pass there. We call that the pocket pass, and he did it well.
Lakers trail by 4.
I'd like to see a 2-for-1 situation here, Clark.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's always good to give yourself that last shot.
They're playing basket.
Thanks so much for tuning into the NBA here on 2K Sports. Wednesday in the NBA. It's the Miami Heat facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's it for now. Let's send you out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew. Enjoy the first half. We'll see you soon. HP Halftime Report. Now, here's Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Broadcasting crew.
Let it go.
Hi again, everybody. Kevin Harlan here with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr as we get a look now at the starting lineups brought to you by State Farm. First, for the Heat, they utilize his abilities to maintain that presence under the rim. And then for the Los Angeles Lakers, they look to him to provide that necessary presence down low. So it's Miami now. For the three, the shot is off. And it's the Lakers taking it the other way. The three, that's good. And Miami has possession. It's a three-point game. Three-pointer. Rebound the Lakers.
I like that. Trying to respond to that last three-pointer, but he couldn't get it to go.
So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
I think Coach saw a couple of things he wanted to correct. You got to make sure everyone's following the game plan.
15 seconds left in the first quarter. Misses the jumper.
Not the smartest shot in the world there.
Got to use your head out here. You can't just play. You got to think about it a little bit too.
And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. Up to this point, a closely contested game. As we start the second quarter, and the Lakers call time here.
Well, the West has long been considered the stronger of the two conferences in the NBA, but Miami, with its revamped roster, really had no problem beating Western Conference foes last year.
So it's the Lakers now. It's a three-point game. This one for three. Count that one.
Boy, and their offense scorching now. Red hot. They've really turned it on.
I don't think they can play any better, guys. I mean, they are just making it look easy out there.
Lets it go. Rebounded by the Lakers.
He doesn't really scare a defense at all. You've seen him miss quite a few just like those.
From outside the arc, and another three for the Lakers.
Excellent teamwork to set up that hoop, Kevin. A sweet dime there.
23 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. From deep, and the shot is good.
So it's like a three-point contest out there, guys.
Yeah, you would fit right in, partner. I mean, you hit one on us, we'll hit one on you. A terrific battle going on here.
And the Lakers call time here. So it's the Lakers now. 3 seconds left. Can't hit.
Well, despite the size disparity, he boxed out, did a really nice job blowing up and getting that rebound.
So
Thanks for staying with us.
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game. Timeout called the Lakers.
Boy, I tell you, the Lakers are always tough on their home court. I mean, visiting teams can get a little starstruck, too. I mean, all kinds of celebrities hanging out in the crowd. Just as many famous people watching as actually playing in the game when you go play the Lakers.
And the Lakers have possession. From 17 feet out. That's good. Going back to that Lakers.